So last weekend, in the very cold weather, we hibernated into the greenhouse and did quite a lot more seed planting. I'm going to show you the planting cabbages, cauliflowers, Brussels sprouts, kale, broccoli. It's all the same. And here I've got, for example, some red cabbage red rookie. The seeds are absolutely tiny. Now, you can either, I go back still using my wine boxes, but you can do them in little modules like plastic cups. You can do them in little modules like these. You can do them in tiny little, can do them in little pots like these, or even smaller pots. But the seeds, as I say, are absolutely tiny. And this, I have a sort of dual approach to it. Is depending on how many, this has got 70 seeds in it. Depending on how many seeds there are, is whether I tip them into here and individually place them, like when we did the broad beans, French beans, the sweet corns. They were bigger seeds and we put them all in lines, as on some of the previous videos. These are absolute tiny. You could see, look at them, absolutely tiny. They're hard to even handle. So there's two approaches. Either you get them individually and place them individually in lines, the same as we did for the others. Or if you're doing them in modules, take two, fill this with soil and put two in each one. So if one fails, you've got another. Two per module. Or you can do the scattergun approach, which I'll show you this. So one's in lines, we've done that with some of the seeds. Scattergun approach is what we're basically going to do, is just tap them out. So they're tapping out on here. You could see, not in lines, but on the soil. And I don't want to plant 70 now, because if 70 all came ripe at the same time, we wouldn't be able to eat them. So I've planted about a half, so hopefully about 30, 35, of which all might not germinate. And you can see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, you'll see all the little seeds scattered are on here. What I call the scattergun approach. And what you then do is, with the same compost that we had, we're just going to sprinkle it over the top. And we just make sure they're basically covered. And make sure all the seeds are covered. Like so. And it's just a thin covering. So you're basically, same as if we were pushing them in the ground, you're pushing them in about 1 centimetre. We've just done a covering. There we are, there's one little one there. Check all the seeds are done. And that's it, planted. Really couldn't be easier. Keep it moist, keep it watered. So, as I said, last weekend we did quite a lot. Here we are. Last weekend I did some kale, and you can see it's already grown in a week, and I did that the scattergun approach. I scattered it, covered it. Look, you can already see they're coming up. Over here I did some thing. These are cabbages. I did those in lines. You could see the seeds, 3 lines. There already have come up in a week. 2 rows of Brussels sprouts. Here, scattergun approach, I did broccoli. And you can see it's all just coming out. Very easy. So it's the same: cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. Now's the time to get planting it. As I say, in modules, in seed boxes. I'm late. I would have normally done this a month ago, but because of all the seeds taking so long to arrive, I'm doing it now. It'll be fine. These will all be in the garden in about 3 weeks, and these are all winter plants. Anyway, you know, they're plants for next winter, Brussels sprouts for Christmas and all that sort of thing. So it's perfect. The other things that we planted, and as I've said in other previous ones, I planted more broad beans, I planted more French beans, and we planted over here more pumpkin invincibles, more butternut squashes, And this is actually a pumpkin crown prince. I hadn't got the right label. And this was the courgettes, because one lot of my courgettes failed. They take a bit longer to germinate. But over the next 10 days, I'm still haven't done my cauliflowers. I'll be planting then more broccoli. Leave it probably 3 weeks, and then I'll plant another lot. Because as I say, the great thing is to keep planting seeds about every month, 5 weeks, so all your veg isn't ready at the same time. Meanwhile, out here, what I've now moved out to harden off, which we'll get in the garden in the next week, is our lettuce seeds. You can see all looking very good. Our French, that are the French bean safari seeds. Those are more sugar snaps, and those are mange too. So we've got some delicious veg ready to go in the garden. This is all hardening off. And for those of you who watched my original planting of the tomatoes in the greenhouse, you'll see from here that they're doing really well. The flowers are starting to develop. I'm starting to fertilise them. And the 5 I had left, now the frost has gone, I put them in these big outdoor tubs outside the greenhouse, watered them, and I've done this in the last 24 hours. And from the little pots into these big pots, and hopefully they'll take longer to grow because they're outdoors than the other ones, but they should be good in September, October time. They'll be delicious. Anyway, I hope that's helpful, and if anyone's got any questions, let me know. Many thanks.